Hello and welcome to Adventure in Time and Space. We're with my guest here, Neil Heiderman and John Coogan. We're going to be
Hello,
doing
everyone.
a rewatch review of Destiny of the Daleks. So, Neil, give us a synopsis of the story.
Well, the series is. All right, so you put me on the spot. Now I can't talk. The serial is set on the planet Skaro, centuries after the 1975 serial of Genesis of the Daleks. In the serial, the Daleks arrive on Skaro to find their creator, Davros, in suspended animation. They seek out Davros, for guidance to help them beat the Movellan race, which is another robot race, and that they're in a stalemate with in the war of the robots, I guess they call it. How's that?
That's it. The tone just right. Yeah, this is just right after we see Genesis of the Daleks. So this is a follow up from that famous one.
Yeah.
John, you want to go first on your review of the story?
Well, my initial thoughts were I thought it was okay. Rewatching it, I don't know, I could see a lot more flaws in it than I saw the first time in 1979. It's been a long time, really. But it was okay. It had a lot of problems, positives, but quite a few problems. But generally, I thought it was okay, more than passable. What did you think, Michelle?
I did. The first time I watched it, I didn't get the gist that it was right after we had that Genesis of Dalek story where they destroyed the city, for the Daleks. Well, the Daleks ran over the wire and it just destroyed them. But when I watched it again, I noticed this. Like, wait a minute, this is right after the famous Genesis of the Daleks, and and the clue where he meets this robots, that are wanting to destroy the planet because of the Daleks being, an evil race and stuff. These robots that came to Skaro, and the doctor wanted to find out why they were there, and then they said, well, why are you here? That sort of thing. He said, no, he said, you told me why you're here. Probably the same reason. And when they said that, he let them know that he knows about the Daleks. And it's interesting how he defeats the Daleks, but stops robots from destroying the planet. But I find it interesting how they put Romana in that tight, cone with that timer, because they wanted the doctor to come out. They wanted the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he showed up, he almost couldn't get her out and stuff like that. And I thought that was very interesting. There was just in the interaction with Devros and the doctor was very interesting because they were both scientific type, and had a lot of, knowledge about certain things. So I thought the interaction with him and Davros was good. What about you, John? I mean, not John. That's why they call it a live stream, Mr. Hyde.
Well, when I first watched this episode like years ago, I wasn't one of my favorite Dalek episodes. But, when I rewatched it today, there was some stuff that stood out that was quite good. There was some stuff that, was bad. David Gooderson, who played Davros, I didn't really care for his performance that much as Davros. Susan Daniel, who played Agala, who was one of the robots, she was strikingly beautiful. She stood out. I liked another thing that stood out for me too was, anybody who wants to say that classic Doctor Who wasn't inclusive, for whatever reason, show them this episode, because there was many different races, like in different kinds of people that were in this episode, especially the Movalans. It wasn't one of the better Terry Nation stories, I thought, but it was still good. The Daleks were voiced by what's his name again? Roy Skelton, who's did a lot of the Dalek voices, before. And I think he was doing them right up until Resurrection of the Daleks, I believe. And these Daleks that were in this episode were the ones that they used in Resurrection of the Daleks. And I like the continuity between, because when they freeze Davros at the end of this episode, he's still frozen in Resurrection of the Daleks.
Oh, did they freeze him in ice?
Yeah, they cryogenically froze him, I believe, was it not? Yeah. And then in Resurrection of the Daleks on the spaceship, he's still frozen, and they end up unfreezing him in that episode. And that's when Terry Molloy came in and played Davros, which is, I think, one of the better Davroses. I liked Romana's pink outfit. Not as much as the red jacket that she wore in Horns of Nimon. I thought that was one of her better ones. But I like the pink outfit. I think that worked. I don't know why she didn't take the scarf off when they were working in the rock quarry, because you think it would get getting caught in the rocks and stuff. But
yeah,
it was a fun story.
His her scarf was the same length, just long enough, kind of like Tom Baker's scarf. I mean, have you noticed the length that it was like a long scarf, like Tom's scarf, basically kind of. Oh, this is not my Doctor Who. He says, I want Romana's pink outfit. I liked her coat.
Perfect for a time like, isn't it? It was
her
quite straight.
Yeah, her scarf fit. Her scarf fit the whole outfit.
And the boots that she wore too are quite similar to the Doctor's as well.
Oh, I think they tried to. I don't know if they try to match things basically, but they sure like to reuse things. Like you just said, the same Daleks in this one were used in the other Dark stories that you mentioned. So
I like the regeneration scene with Romana, and the difference between tall and short. And then the one comes out with that's dressed in the bosoms that were sticking out, and the Doctor goes, "Not today."
Very belly dancer, I thought, that lady. Yes.
Yeah.
That I like the tall part where he just kept looking and he just put over. He's just too tall. The way he put his head back like that. But if you notice now. How and I'm going to say this in with this fake doctors, we all agree they wanted to retcon and say, well, I think they pretty much did that there were female doctors before her. And then they also said, well, the Doctor can regenerate the female. Where if you look at this story, this is a perfectly good story. That when Romana regenerates, she's a female. So it just goes to show that they can't just swap genders. They'll just say the same gender. So, I mean, that's the one thing I liked about this. It just goes to show you that the Time Lords can regenerate, but they stay in their same gender. So that right there, that was set with canon when it came, canon started with the Doctor. So, but did you like the interaction between the Doctor and Davros? Mr. Hyde?
It was reminiscent of Genesis of the Daleks, where they had a lot of the dialogue. What I didn't like was him wheeling around Davros in that chair. I thought that was quite silly. It kind of took away from Davros's,
The trolley dash,
yeah. Big smile on his face while he's doing like he was having fun. It's like it sort of took away from Davros's, persona. He's being wheeled around by the Doctor and made to look like a buffoon.
But that showed that he did not have control over his cartwheel or whatever. He didn't have to. But I thought it was like, I think it kind of little, kind of a little break, a little laughter, little type of joking. But John, what about you? What do you think of the interaction? Whenever it's just not, besides the wheeling around, but whenever where it was a scene where the Doctor was interacting with Davros.
Well, any sort of scene the Doctor interacts with Davros is going to be quite an intense scene because I wouldn't say they're intellectual equals, but they're on the same sort of level, really. And they are basically opposites of each other, really, and they sort of work out really well. I was just sort of interested in what Neil said there about sort of Terry Nation. There's been a Terry Nation story. I don't know if you know very much about the sort of background of Destiny of the Daleks or the way it sort of panned out, but essentially it was the first season of Graham Williams, his tenure in the role, and he had a guy called Douglas Adams as a script editor. Now, Neil, I'm sure you know Douglas Adams, don't you?
Yep.
He wrote
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Pardon me, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now, he was a script editor. Now, Terry Nation always wrote the Dalek stories, but he's quite a lazy writer. So he used to write in sort of very similar scripts, rehashed scripts of stories he'd done previously. Now, on this occasion, he sent in on the DVD of, sorry, I've got a terrible cough, Destiny of the Daleks. And one of the DVD extras, the director of the show, he's been interviewed. And according to him, what Terry Nation sent in was essentially some scribbled notes and rehash of previous Dalek stories. And what Douglas Adams did was he rewrote 90% of that story. And effectively, the story that we got was more or less a Douglas Adams story with the Daleks as opposed to a Terry Nation story. It was actually the last script that Terry Nation wrote for Doctor Who or for the BBC because he didn't take kindly to the rewrite of the actual script. So it went on from there. And I just wonder how much of a difference it made to that story. I think, first of all, how quickly did he rewrite it? And secondly, would we have had scenes like the Romana regeneration scene with the tall, short, and medium Romana? Would we have had that? I don't know. But I think generally it was okay. It's a story that not a lot actually happens in. Think about what happens when Davros wakes up. There is a bit of messing about with the Movellans, really, and nothing's changed. Davros doesn't leave his chamber, and not a lot actually gets achieved to the end of it. So I found it a bit of a strange story. I think the concept of Douglas Adams of the Daleks was a bit different than Terry Nation's.
The one thing that I kind of want to put out here is that it was never really shown how Davros ended on that ship and put in the cryogenic fake state. I wonder how you didn't see how he got there or how they got him there. That's the one thing you don't see. So that's kind of like
Nobody talks. He talks about it though in the episode. He explains to the Doctor how it happened.
Yeah,
something about his
backup systems kicked.
Yeah, his backup systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his tissue regenerated and stuff like that.
Yeah, but getting him getting him from the base to that ship.
They pushed him like Tom Baker pushed him. They probably did that.
Yeah, they tied a string to the Daleks and they pushed the whole on.
I wish we could have seen that.
So I thought it was a bit of a sort of strange story in that way. And it was a bit odd. And the thing that I found most contentious about the story, and this is only my sort of personal opinion, really is, the whole premise was a bit sort of screwed up, shall we say. Essentially, the premise was the Netherlands and the Daleks were fighting, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Two computer strategies, always achieving stalemate. And that was shown by the
Robots.
the paper, scissors, stone.
Oh,
Sorry, I can't
yeah.
say
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
paper, scissors,
But you
stone.
know,
And that was
What do
when
you
the
call that?
Bellans did it.
Paper,
That was
rock.
exactly duplicated.
Yeah.
So
but
that's
you
what
notice how, but you notice how the robots did it. Both they were doing that rock paper scissors, and they both came out with the same. They put scissors. If they did one did scissors, the other one did scissors, so they end up having a stalemate. But the doctor was showing them about that, and they always came out with the same outcome together. So.
Well, I would assume the logic of it would be, Michelle, if you did it and it was two scissors, a computer would go for the thing that can defeat the scissors. Then, so with the other battle computer,
Yeah,
so
but
scissors
he was
would go to
trying.
stone and then paper. Sorry.
He was trying to show that they both had both sides had the same concept. Like Davros wanted to destroy that spaceship. They wanted to destroy Davros. So they both had the same, like you did that rock, paper, scissors, and both the robots had scissors. It's like Davros was wanting to do this, and they wanted to do that. So it was both, they were both in stalemate. So the doctor broke that stalemate. That's what the whole thing. But it was interesting. It was interesting how he told the robots about Davros and the Daleks. That they asked him how he knew, and he told them. But when he found out he was one of these robots said that they're sorrow, he's like, you can see the light bulb going up in his head, like deja vu. Because first, when they didn't land, they didn't know it was Scarrow, and had no clue what where they were at until those robots told them. They gave the plant whatever they gave it, and then they say it's Scarrow, and the doctor's face was like a sheer shock, and kind of like, oh my God, I'm on Scarrow,
Yeah.
after being on Scarrow in the Genesis Daleks because of the Time Lords.
Yeah. The thing about it was basically both computers were sort of in stalemate, shall we say, and they wanted Davros because he could apparently, with his intuition and his non-computer linear thinking, could break that stalemate. And that's a sort of reasonable assumption, except the Daleks aren't robots, they're humanoid creatures inside a robot, which is like a guy driving a tank. Mm-hmm. Now, they're not run by the exorable rules of logic. The same with Davros and the Doctor when the Dalek was at the door, and when he had the bomb. He started going on about, you would not do it, you wouldn't sacrifice. It's illogical. They sounded more like Cybermen than Daleks, and I didn't like that. Because Daleks are supposed to be little blokes full of hate that drive those travel machines. And I thought that was a bit of a sort of crap premise. You could argue that after all this war, they could have developed into logical thinking beings, but I found that was a bit of a stretch. That was the thing that I didn't really like about it. What do you think about that, Neil? Do you think they were robots? Or?
I think the Daleks in this episode were suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
They like to blow themselves up or get blown up, right?
Yeah,
and I thought that was kind of, they were just happy to get blown up.
Well, they said self-sacrifice is illogical. Why would you do it? And then an episode later, Davros has them with all sticking bombs to the outside of each other and going to stand outside in the Dalek ship.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I don't understand how that works. So I just felt it was a bit odd.
Well,
But,
even the Doctor was happy to blow one of them up too, wasn't he?
Well, that's something I thought was very out of character.
Yeah,
That he actually
yeah.
sat on the side of Davros's chair and then buggered off with the Sonic, getting ready to blow him up. I thought it was a bit cold-blooded for the
Yeah,
Doctor.
you know,
Stuff.
this whole episode was quite dark, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
suicidal Daleks and a Doctor that was happy to blow up Davros with the sonic screwdriver. And
But the whole thing is the reason why he wanted to throw it in the front. It was more like he was using it as leverage, and I think him putting it on some of his chairs. I think he kind of figured out the Dalek that he figured. I think he knew the Daleks would Davros would have them. You know.
yeah, but the Doctor was out of there. He was out of the way. He didn't need to turn around and try to blow up Davros. That was kind of pointless.
Yeah, but he was using it leverage until he got out.
Yeah, but especially when he was in the episode before that with Genesis of the Daleks, do I have the right to, to destroy the Daleks? He's fighting with that dilemma.
Oh,
but then
okay.
he turned in this episode, throws the sonic screwdriver out when he's going to blow them up.
Okay, I see your point there. Yeah, that I see the point right there is that we see Genesis. He's like, "Do I have that right? Do I have that right?" Speech, and fighting the moral dilemma, and then here he puts the bomb on the side of Davros' chair, and as he's making his way to get out, and then he turns around, takes his screwdriver to ignite the bomb. But I have a feeling he knows that the Daleks are going to, Davros is going. I don't know. He might, because knowing how Davros is, but he's just going on the thought that might happen. But for him to put on the side of Davros and then pull out the sonic screwdriver when he got out to set the bomb off, this is a different version of the Doctor. And I have to say, Tom Baker pulls this off really well. He's never been like a darker Doctor or darker side of the Doctor. But this one, he did really good in this episode.
I miss K9 in this episode too.
What?
It's K9. I miss K9 in this.
Oh,
episode.
I know, but I was just gonna mention about K9. The funny part you mentioned it is K9. I was going.
How does a robot get laryngitis?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. How in the heck did this robot get laryngitis? Because robots never get laryngitis. But that right there, I thought was so funny. It was. We know robots don't, but it was a comical side of making K9 so, almost real life, basically.
I wonder if it was a segue to the fact that it wasn't John Leeson this season doing his voice, right? It was David Brearley. So I think they sort of messed around with the vocal point of K9 to sort of show that, right?
Yeah, that's probably it. Probably putting a little, sort of.
That's exactly what it was, Mabel, basically. They wanted, initially in that episode, because of where they filmed it in that quarry, and when they filmed the Stones of Blood in the previous season, they had problems getting K9 traveling across the rough terrain, across fields, across stone circles, stuff like that. So they thought putting in the quarry, they couldn't actually sort of get it across, so they said he had laryngitis. And the actual groan that you hear at the start of it, and he goes, it's actually Roy Skelton, the Dalek operator. He's the one that actually does the voice for that. That's exactly the reason, Neil. You're correct. That they did that for people early coming in.
Oh, Mr. Not my doctor, because of the mostly location filling and that quarry K9 was unsuitable, so was written out. And that's exactly what John said too. This just goes, this just goes along with what John said. Oh, by the way, I do want to say hi to everybody in the chat here for this live stream. Just wanted to welcome you. I'm sorry I didn't see that when we first started, so I just wanted to, just welcome and let you know, appreciate you showing up and listening to my strange voice. Anyway, so the thing is, it was kind of interesting. And plus, K9 being a robot with the wheels, it would be hard if it going over a little bit of those rocks up there. So that would be hard to do. I can see why they did that.
Let's talk about those. Sorry? No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you look at the Dalek scenes, you didn't actually see a Dalek going across the quarry. You saw the top end of the Dalek, probably the top 2/3 going across the. You never actually saw the bottom bits going over. So I'm not sure how they worked that.
Oh,
They brought in for this episode for the first time. They brought in a new camera, which is called a Steadicam, which allowed greater stability on sort of moving shots. I think they used quite a lot of that in this episode, which made it quite an expensive episode, which you can tell by it does look to a certain extent quite cheap and nasty, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you never see the bottom of the Dalek. You only see that. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Because
maybe Cy Town, who was the Dalek operator, had his feet walking in the sand and only the top part of the Dalek over his head.
Well, that could
magic of filmmaking.
That could be the just could have just have part of the Dalek, and the guy.
It's kind of like Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin, because he wore slippers in his scenes, right? And no one saw that because you didn't see them from his feet down, right? So maybe the Dalek was walking around with regular feet.
Yeah, we may never know. It's one of those things that you try to do in any type of show, trying to not show. How they would do certain shows and stuff, and the guy, they don't want to see this, like Melissa said, the Dalek, he was probably walking so we could just see the top part of the Dalek, but they made it so we could see what was going, kind of being secret, so that you don't see what's actually, who the one is actually moving the Dalek,
Mm-hmm.
But I did.
What did you think of the villains, Neil?
Sorry, what was that?
What did you think of the villains?
You mean Rick James?
Well, I think Millie Vanilli's. But
like
I thought they looked good.
Yeah, they look good, but easily
defeated,
though, right?
With the white hair with the black tips.
Well, all you had to do is reach out and grab their little power thing, and then you're done, right? So
they were simple to basically capture.
I like the outfits, though.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite stunning. Especially Susan Daniel as Agala, she was quite.
Okay, watch it.
Well,
but no, I thought the Movellans were quite interesting. The outfits were nice. The idea of them, was quite cool too, right? Especially when Agala gets crushed by the rocks, but clearly she, comes back and she's not hardly damaged at all. But I just thought the whole power source on the side of their belt, was so easily accessible. They just pull it off, and then they lose their power. But I thought the idea of what's his name, Tyson, when he manipulates their power control, right, and turns them against each other, I thought that was a good idea too.
Well, Tyson is has Michelle gone?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry, something was acting up on my end. I don't know why.
Well, Tyson is a very, very interesting character. I thought he was pretty good in the show. I thought
Oh
he
yeah,
did
yeah.
very, very well.
I liked the guy who played Tyson. Yeah, he was very level-headed, and he was very cunning in a way.
The only thing is, though, when he first shows up with Romana, why didn't he like say hi? I'm your friend. Instead, he's like leering at her, and no wonder the girl was like running backwards away from her because he was scared of him. He could have said, "Hey, I'm on your side. I could have helped you." Instead she
Well,
shaft, and
well,
but he
you
turns
got
out to
to.
be a good guy, though, right? So
Well,
He was
there's.
quite a scary looking guy, but at the same time, what I think is quite interesting about this guy, he's called Tim Barlow, I think. I think that's the actor's actual name is. And
yes,
he was deaf when he filmed that episode. He was actually deaf, or 90% deaf. What happened was he was in the army in the 50s,
hmm
and he heard too many high velocity rifle shots, and he developed deafness because of it. And he left the army and went into acting.
Yeah,
And he
most.
tried roles and got a few roles here and there. And he got that role in Doctor Who. And he could do most of it because essentially it's a script, isn't it? And you rehearse the script so you know when you're supposed to come in. The problem was he couldn't have cues when he was acting, so he was someone who had to tap him on the leg to give him a cue and stuff like that. And if you look at Tom and him interacting, there's one particular scene when he first meets him, and sorry, I put my camera on for this, and Tom is speaking to him. You can see Tom Baker for no reason doing this over his shoulder, which I think was a visual cue to that actor.
hmm
And I think it's kudos for that guy because he couldn't hear.
hmm
He can hear now because he had a cochlear implant, I think,
right.
Yeah,
in the early 21st century, but he couldn't hear basically. And I think it was about your performance. He was really good, that guy.
yeah. I mean, I like the interaction with him and Tom Baker, with him and the doctor. I thought that was pretty interesting. But what really gets me is the Daleks kidnapped the people that Romana met. Both of them. One was the Daleks came on her ship and killed everyone, but they kidnapped her. And I think forget the other one. They end up kidnapping these people and bringing them back. I wonder if that was their plan in when they attacked these people. If that's what their reasons were doing it, besides, you know, ultimate destruction.
Sorry, Michelle, could you explain that again? I didn't quite get that. What did you mean?
Okay,
Sorry.
okay. The people that were in the quarry down the bottom and cleaning it out, whereas the Daleks one was kidnapped from the spaceship because everybody was killed, but she was taken. And another guy where the Daleks showed up, I don't know if he destroyed her, but destroyed the people there at that boy's planet, and capture him was their intent. Because we know they're out for ultimate destruction, kill, maim, and destroy type.
I sort of got the impression that because they were in different planets, the people that were slaves, weren't they? And I got the impression that a Dalek ship, the initial Daleks that were there, basically, a Dalek ship wasn't mentioned. They must have arrived in something. And I assumed they had brought those people with them to do the mining work, the heavy sort of duty work, mining all the way through on Scarrow. So I assumed they did it like that. But as Neil said earlier on, we're very diverse. I can't see who's in the chat because I can't see the chat.
Yeah.
But not my Doctor Who's there. He might remember a program in the 1980s called The Chinese Detective. It's a guy called David Yip. He was a Chinese actor, and he was a Chinese detective, shall we say, in England. But he was the guy the Chinese guy that was actually in the quarry itself. That was an earlier role for him. So that sort of stood out for me as well. Suzanne Danielle, who Neil has mentioned several times, she must have made quite an impression on you. She was very well in the sort of 70s. She was a very good-looking actress who was very hot but not trashy. And she tried a bit of acting and stuff like that, but she was quite good. But in this role, she didn't do very much, really. She hardly spoke at all. So He
Well,
looks good. I'll have to.
see, they had the main characters, uh, and then they had these the sub characters who really didn't weren't really major parts in this episode. The ones that just they're not fillers, but they're just extras basically. They have just short, little, talking parts. Uh, Despite the main, the main roles, main characters.
Yeah.
So I thought, I thought everybody in this episode, and that episode I think was very, really, I mean, excuse me, very well written. Is what I meant. Sorry, I thought it was very well written. That's the way I think. I'm not sure if you guys feel that same way or not.
Well, it was certainly an entertaining story. The execution kind of failed a bit, I think, but it was an entertaining story. I mean, I think overall, out of all the characters, the guy that Tim Barlow playing Tyson, I think he was the standout performance.
Yeah.
I was kind of happy to see him survive at the end too, right?
Oh yeah, so was I. So was I. What
I
about
thought
you,
Lala
John?
was terrible in this episode. I thought she was not very good, especially when she's been interrogated. Quite a lot of hammy, I thought.
And how can she not know who the Daleks are?
Well, you're gonna have
At the
to.
same time, she walked into the Movellan screen when Movellan's had a picture of Davros on the screen.
Yeah.
She would have never seen Davros, so how does she know who? She said, "Where did you get that picture from?"
Yeah. How do you
And
know
I
that?
thought that
It's like, oh,
there's
you didn't
quite
know
a
who
few
Daleks.
things were about it. Very sus. So yeah, what was I doing?
Oh, we could always think that the doctor told her about Davros. I mean,
But
that's.
he wouldn't have
Well,
drawn
they
her
were
picture.
separated though, right? So
I
she
know,
wouldn't have
yeah,
known.
yeah. That's a good wonder. But you have to understand, how she didn't know about the Daleks is she's probably never faced them. So that's probably. But then the picture of Davros, and with her being surprised like that, it's like, okay, wait a minute. If she didn't know about the Daleks, and how could she know about Davros? That is a curious um, thing. How could she not know one and know the other? I wonder.
And this is the first time you see that the Time Lords can actually regenerate into somebody else's body, like when she took Princess Astra's
Oh,
body,
Yeah.
right? And then later on, well, if you think about it, technically Colin Baker, well, he was Maxwell, wasn't he, in a Peter Davison episode?
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and look,
Definitely.
and then in Nuhu, if you look at Peter Capaldi,
Yeah, that's another example.
and he was in the episode Fires of Pompeii
Oh,
with David Tennant.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
example too.
But
it just made me think, as I was saying at the start of earlier on there about Douglas Adams. I'm just wondering, did Douglas Adams bring this selective regeneration into Doctor Who, basically, and in that way, has Doctor Who canon been changed by Douglas Adams? I don't know whether that's true or not, but it's a possibility, really, isn't it?
Mhm.
Douglas Adams liked to drop references to his own works in Doctor Who. In this scene, when the pillar falls on the Doctor,
He takes that
he
book
starts
out.
reading a book
Yeah.
oh
by
god, that was fun.
the Kublot, I think it is, some guy from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I think it's City of Death, which is the next story, which was co-written by Douglas Adams in the name of Robert Agnew or something like that.
Mhm.
There's
Okay.
another reference there. And in was Ghostlight, the Doctor says at one stage, humans don't invite their ancestors round for dinner. That's an almost direct quote from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So there was a lot of that in that.
Yes.
On my Doctor Who, about Romana, she had only just graduated from the academy when she joined the Doctor, so maybe had never met the Daleks. That's what Not My Doctor Who said. Yeah, because when she first met the Doctor before she regenerated to look in this dusty of the Daleks, she was a graduate from the academy to help out the Doctor about finding the pieces for the cube. Um, where you have the White Guardian and the Dark Guardian.
Yeah, the key to
That's what
time.
she was. That's what she was brought in for.
And also, this story was the first story that the Doctor had the randomizer built into the TARDIS console, wasn't it? Because he was planting the back Guardian. So, what you were saying, Michelle, about the key to time, this is the first post key to time story. So that's what that was noticeable as well, which is why they ended up with Scarrow. He didn't know why, but he just ended up there. Neil, what do you think about how it actually looked visually, the episode? What did you think of it?
I thought it was, visually it was nice. It was a good episode. For some reason, two things that really worked for Doctor Who: the period episodes, and whenever they're in a rock quarry. For some reason, it just suits Doctor Who, right? So
those rock tours do have to say that.
And
some of the stories.
Yeah, the sand up when Tom Baker is, in the sand dunes and he's looking up and the Daleks are over top. I mean, I thought that was quite cool. It was, visually that stood out to me, and it reminded me a lot of Planet of the Daleks. I'm sure it was probably, filmed in the same spot, but it was quite stunning, especially when they were running along in the sand dunes as well. I thought it was quite cool.
Well, I had a look at that earlier on because I had the same sort of thought, really. And bizarrely enough, the same place that I was in was actually the planet Exelon as well during the John Pertwee days.
Mm-hmm.
But Revelation was shot in a different place. But that was shot in two places that aren't very far from me. One was the standard quarry, and one was a gravel pit. The quarry itself is strange because I wondered about the sets because I thought, that's Scarrow. They don't look like Scarrow-esque buildings. So I had to look at the locations for them, and they were filmed in a stone quarry, as I said, about 40 miles from where I live. But when the Second World War kicked in, it was converted to a naval air defense unit. I think they probably put anti-aircraft gun there, stuff like that. So they built extra buildings, and then over time, over 30 years or so, they're all fallen down. So there were big bits of concrete around, and it was similar. You saw a big continuity earlier on, Neil. It was very similar to the original bunker, wasn't it?
Yep.
So I had to look at all that. So I did enjoy that. I thought that was quite good. Visually, I thought it was very bright. The Velen spaceship, and they were very white, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their suits.
And I know it was filmed in June and transmitted in September, and it was quite sunny outside and stuff like that. But I thought it looked quite well. There's some nice camera shots in it, but a lot of the camera shots I noticed in this were taken from a very low angle, and I don't understand why.
Anyway, Not My Doctor Who says, it's amazing how a quarry always looks like an alien planet. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Do you, John? Yeah,
I agree with Michelle.
Yeah, it does. It does. When you look at it, it does. It seems because it just fits. And I like the story around the rock quarry, however you say it. It fit this story too, because of how Scarrow was supposed to be after the genesis of the Daleks, after all the explosion. It just that fit right after that one story. You could see that was this is a follow-up story. We get a chance to meet the Daleks and see what happened, see the aftermath basically of their demise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of interesting that they froze, their cryogenic froze Davros, and then they're going to triumph for his crimes. I thought that was interesting. But
one of the things in this episode that when we talk about continuity that impressed me, and it's something very subtle. And this is going on the fact that I'm and I like incidental music and stuff like that. But whenever you see the Daleks on screen, especially when they're in a controlled area like they are in this episode, there's like a little hum that you hear. It's like a
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah.
background. Whenever I hear that, it brings a smile to my face for some reason, because you hear that for years, and for them to can continue on with that, it was pretty cool.
It kind of when you hear that, you almost
You knew
have
that the
this
Daleks
fear.
were
Yeah,
here, right? So
yeah.
once you hear it,
Oh, the funny part, the one part that got me interested and I yelled at the screen is where this woman, was out there watching and she saw the Dalek um, come up, and I was watching it, and then their Dalek was coming behind her. Said, turn back, there's a Dalek behind you. There's a Dalek. It's like she's going to hear me. And the Dalek came up behind and killed her. But I was yelling at the screen, says, it's behind you, it's behind you, it's behind you. I mean, don't you find yourself always, if an alien's coming behind someone, that you just like, look behind you, it's behind you. I mean, it's like, I don't know if any of you guys do that watching something like this.
and when you talk about coming up behind somebody, I found the Daleks were quite noisy in this episode.
Oh yeah,
Right? They're always chirping at something. But then there's the scene where the doctor goes back, I think it's in episode 4, to see Davros, and the Dalek comes right out of nowhere behind him, and it scares the crap out of the doctor. I thought that was quite clever. But
yeah.
he's quiet. You didn't see him come up at first, whereas as the episode went on in the first few parts, they were quite noisy, and the whole Dalek way, where they're like seek, locate, destroy, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
this Dalek came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that would scare the doctor. Oh, not my Doctor Who says the director said that filming the Daleks from low angles was because they didn't want to see the bottom of them. They were moving along on wooden boards and sometimes with feet sticking out. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, they're wearing slippers like Peter Cushing as his Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, but I still think there's an awful lot of it. One of the scenes where I really noticed it was whenever Baker escapes up the ventilator chutes, or whatever it was, the slide, and he says, if you're the superior beings in the universe, why don't you climb up after me? When you see the Dalek look up at him and fire, it's from that underneath angle. So you're looking directly up at it. Sometimes it was much more obvious than others. I just thought it was a weird way to do things.
Well,
I'm not a film director, so I don't know.
If you see in New Who, they were levitating, so you kind of wonder if they ever had that back in the. I mean, if that was just, I don't know if they just probably added it on New Who to give them more twists for the Daleks, because you don't see that. I haven't seen that in the classic episodes. I just think that must be lazy grading, that's thrown in.
The Daleks, it's a remembrance with Sylvester McCoy. They go upstairs to play.
Yeah, and actually, the first time you see any of them levitate is Revelation of the Daleks.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that one.
It's Davros is levitating when he's shooting the lightning into Orsini.
Oh,
yes.
so it's okay. So it's so basically they even did that the classic Who. So it's just not the New Who that came up with that. Interesting. Interesting. Some things I did not know. I think so when people told me that. I'm not
It's
sure.
because you don't watch Colin Baker.
Okay, stop that. Stop it. I just can't get into him. I mean,
he's really good.
Yeah, but he's one of these ones in the Doctor, his episode in Doctor Who is, I think he's acquired taste.
Some are better than others, but like Revelation, and Revelation is fantastic sort of
It's
episode.
actually
I'm a great fan of Davros and the Daleks.
Yep.
I
Revelation.
personally think that when Davros appears, it just
Well-
turns the Daleks themselves into like drones, like shock troops, and sort of diminishes them, for want of a better word.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Revelation was a fantastic episode. Orsini was a great character. I loved Orsini.
Yeah.
Well,
But his-
Well, it's like I said,
What?
I had to force myself to watch The Mark of the Rani with him.
I think all the
And that was-
characters
That
actually.
was only a two-parter. So I mean, that was one of those episodes I just had to sit there and just grit my teeth and watch it.
it
Um,
wasn't that fun. It's just-
I might have to watch the Revelation. That might, there might be some episodes that are really good of his. That I mean, I'm gonna have to watch that one. I
You need
just
to watch everything, Michelle.
I just can't get into Colin Baker. I like Sylvester McCoy because he's kind of comical.
Revelation of Daleks is actually my favorite Dalek episode.
Uh,
I thought it was brilliantly written. The acting, I mean, Colin Baker is not in it as much as some of his other stories, right? It was more of a character story.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it was very well done. In him and Davros, the dialogue between those
oh, I'll have to watch it
good.
now.
Norsini and the Squire Bostock,
I'm gonna have to
the
watch it
scene where
now.
Bostock, I don't want to give spoilers just in case, Michelle
Oh.
watches it, but not a lot of them make it out alive.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's sad some of the death scenes that happen in it because
Okay.
it was quite good.
kind of spoiling it for me here.
Yeah, so you need to watch. Yeah, you should watch it.
Oh, John, do you have a good Dalek story that you like?
My favorite, I say I'm not super great fan of the Daleks, really, basically. I sort of, I think probably Genesis, pound for pound, probably is the best. Revelation's very good, really. Doesn't have that sort of mythic quality that Genesis have. But Genesis is, I suppose you would call it an origin story, for want of a better word.
Mhm.
So I think that but Revelation was pretty good. Remembrance is also an excellent story. There's been a few other sort of sus ones, especially in New Who as well, apart from the Mighty Dalek episode with Eccleston, But
Yeah, that one was a good one. Anyway, not my Doctor Who mentions Colin Baker was a good doctor. He just didn't get a fair chance to shine because of that costume and cancellation thing in the middle of his run. Big Finish stuff was good, and yes, his costume was I was wondering what in the world were they thinking when they had him put on that outfit.
Well, John Nathan Turner wanted to go for a contrast of character, right? And that's why I think he wore that multicolored jacket.
Well, probably was it? There's a play Joseph in the multicolored dream coat, I think it is, where he or whatever it is, it's multicolored. Oh shit, I can't think of it. My tongue's going. It's
Multicolored dream coats.
yeah, multicolored dream coat. That's what that kind of reminds me of, is that multicolored dream coat, basically.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, if you're out in the middle of, like when I was watching Mark of the Rani, he's like out here where the times where they were wearing dark shirts and ties, and he walks out with this, and he's like standing out like a sore thumb. It's like you see all these people, they have, the ties like a dark, like brown type color, and he's standing there talking to these people and is like in that outfit. I mean, you're sticking out like a sore thumb. I'm surprised some of these people didn't say him. I mean, he didn't dress, for the time period. He's this wild color outfit, That's
Well, the
what-
master mentions it in Mark of the Rani, doesn't he? He calls it revulgar looking jacket, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what to do with John Nathan Turner himself. he himself, from what I've seen of him, basically, he always did tend to dress in quite a vulgar fashion. He liked his Hawaiian shirts,
Mm-hmm.
very blood and garish gear, and I think that might have been a lot of his influence, really. So,
I
Peter Davison's costume was the first one that was sort of manufactured for him. Before that, the rest of them, they just sort of picked their
Yeah.
costume out. Peter
Um,
Davison was given that by Nathan Turner, so
Yeah, with Sylvester McCoy, when he got the role, he wears hats. That is something. He's always a hat person. He's always got these fashionable hats. And I've heard of him that when he got the role, and he had to have his costume and everything, the outfit for the doctor. He says, "Well, can I wear a hat?" And they said, "Yeah." So that's why you see him with all these like different kinds of hats, because that's what he liked to wear in real life. So he had that put in with his doctor. I like Tom Baker and his hat. It was a interesting one,
I
along with
don't
that long
wear a hat.
skirt.
So, do you wear a hat, Michelle?
What?
Do you ever wear a hat?
Oh, I wear baseball caps.
Do
Yeah,
you?
that's about
What
the
do you
only
written
one.
on it?
What?
Do you have a logo on your baseball cap?
Oh, I have my baseball team here, the Cleveland Indians. And then I have one that's from my favorite soap opera that I ended up getting. It was called Days of Our Lives. I don't really have any plain baseball caps. Don't like plain baseball caps. They got to have something on them. I mean, my dad's got loads of baseball caps. He don't wear them all, but he has so many of them. It's not even funny. And I also in the winter, you wear those winter, the winter things, hats for winter. But
With the flaps over the ears.
yeah, it covers over my ears. Yeah. But I like my baseball caps. What about you, Mr. Rod? He's sitting there smiling.
I have my hat on.
Yeah, see, he's got a hat on.
It's because my hair is getting a little long. So
Yeah, I think everybody's hair is getting long around it. I bet you anything people are going to have really weird haircuts.
Well, you know what I'm thinking of right now is remember in Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Which Batman was it where it was the first one with the Joker in Michael Keaton, and then
Okay.
when they couldn't wear makeup
Okay.
because it was all like what was it poisoned or something that they couldn't wear makeup. So I'm beginning to think, in another couple of weeks when people are doing these live streams, we're going to look totally different, right? We're going to have hair, down to our shoulders and big long goatees and
Yeah. Well, you can trim your beards. But when are the...
After a while, oh, hairy. Yeah.
By the way, not my Dr. Who says I'm a flat cap wearer in the winter. Keeps my head warm. That's true. But
I don't know. I think cats encourage baldness myself.
well,
yeah, it's getting there.
well, I'm not. I have all my hair. I'm not bald. Of course, women will look weird bald.
Yeah. People who wore hats in Victorian times used to go crazy. They used to go mad quite a lot. They used to put stuff in the hat bands, this chemical called mercurious nitrate. Which they used to put in hat bands, and they didn't realize the poison. The people who used to wear hats used to absorb this into their heads, and they used to go mad. And that's where the expression "mad as a hatter" comes from. It's true. It's true.
Well, something we learned that we all never knew.
This is an educational channel.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
School's in session.
Yeah, school's in session. We're all. Hey, John. My Dr. Who says I'm already crazy.
We're all mad here.
Let's put it this way. After we get through this, I'm surprised we haven't killed each other. People that are together, with their spouses or their significant others. I'm surprised we haven't killed them yet. Going mad as a hatter.
I think I'm one of the lucky ones because my wife and I are both work essential services, right? So
Okay.
we're both working, so we're not
So,
home all the time.
so you're one of the lucky ones.
Well,
You're lucky in a way. Okay. To change the subject here on the same what we were discussing about. Okay, rate this episode 1 to 10 jelly babies. Rate it between 1 to 10 jelly babies.
I give it a 6.
6 jelly babies? Okay, John, you. How many jelly babies? 1 to 10 jelly babies.
I'm going to give it a 6, but it could be
Six.
different from you, I suppose. So I'm going to give it a 5.
You're going to give it 5 jelly babies.
Just
Mr. Hyde.
a passing grade for John.
Mr. Hyde is 6 jelly babies. I would say probably about 7 jelly babies. Anybody
like
in there? Okay, I'm going to ask people here. Anybody in the chat? Between 1 to 10 jelly babies, what would you rate this episode, Destiny of the Daleks? Anybody in the chat? So get their review. How many jelly babies? Let's put it this way. I got in a bag of jelly babies from Amazon. It did not make it to the end of the day between me and my boyfriend. It was gone.
I'm that way with cashews. They're like
God.
crack for me.
Oh, you and me are same with cashews. I can go through the whole bag. My mom says if you go the whole bag, it's going to make you sick. Okay, we got one taker to rate it. And guess what? Not my Doctor Who says, I like it, so 7 jelly babies. So both me and not my Doctor Who both say 7 jelly babies.
Great. Take a look.
I mean, I just wanted to give it a even 7 because there was some good parts in it. You know, it just. I mean, I wanted to do in their episode, Dalek episode, for Yvette, my Vivian friend Yvette, because she's the Dalek queen, and this episode review is for you, Yvette, because you like the Daleks. So I thought I would do this. There's so many shows. I have to listen to Big Finish, Paul McGann, Sword of Orion, and I also have to watch Tombs of the Cybermen for your doing your review for Wednesday. It's like, geez, and then Blue Bonnet Vivian wants to do Into the Dalek with her favorite doctor, so I gotta rewatch that. So, I mean, I got so much on my plate right now, I want to do. Also want to try to do a tribute to Tom Baker, but I'm still trying to wonder what kind of music, because John Pertwee was so easy to pick for. So easy to pick for. The music I had was like, I put with it. It's like I listened to it. I was like, yeah, that's John. That's John. So Tom is a little bit more, not much, not much. Or I could do the Beverly Hills theme song. How's that? With Tom Baker.
The end of the world as we know it. Do that.
What?
It's the end of the world as we know it by REM.
Oh, we'll have to listen to it to see. I listened to the music, and that's how I basically picked it.
Yeah.
Because when I did Matt Smith, which is my doctor, it was so easy to pick for him because I picked picked the song from Shania Twain. It was just a rich song, and how I felt about him. And then with David Tennant, it was Bonnie Tyler. A hero. I'm looking for a hero, or I forget what the title is.
I think the REM one is a good idea, John.
By the way, this is for Mr. Hyde. I think of joining you for Tomb of the Cybermen, or so I'm told. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I would like to see you on there, Mr. Not my Doctor Who, whatever. I would like to see you on there. That would be cool.
It's going to
That
be a
would
fun
be a
stream.
full. Yeah, that would probably be a full house.
Mhm.
Um, but um,
Yeah, it's going to be
anyway,
a fun one. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. So I mean, doing live streams they're interesting because then you get other people's reviews, feelings, and stuff. But whenever you do tape, it's just you and you're doing all the talking. This you have others putting their input. Yes, I know I'm a talker. Yes, people know me. I talk too much, but
Not at all, Michelle.
oh, that's my personality anyway. So I mean, I don't mind it. But um,
In
anyway,
one thing I want to say, this is totally off topic of what we're talking about,
okay,
but when I was a kid watching Doctor Who, um, and now as I'm watching more and doing rewatches and getting back into
yeah,
reliving them all, and
yeah.
the it made me realize, and it does now, that England has always been on a bucket list to go visit just from the scenery alone,
Oh,
from these Doctor Who episodes.
oh, for me, I wouldn't mind visiting England because of uh the the Round Theater with Shakespeare because I'm into drama. So I would love to go to England for that, and also see some of the things around, or because of Doctor Who too, in a way.
Especially like the countryside ones, like Visitation and stuff like that. You're like,
Oh yeah,
I'd just
yeah.
love to be able to go for a walk, and see the sites that these episodes were filmed in.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
And John's probably
but Doctor Who is. I think it's such a British program that I think I'm not being like rude, basically, but I think a lot Americans and North Americans miss a lot of it because of cultural differences. And I
yeah.
think that it's very, very sort of quite strange in a way. It didn't occur to me till quite a bit ago. PBS has commercials, doesn't it?
I've never seen any commercials on PBS.
No.
PBS, a public broadcast service, or maybe it's not. But we have a PBS America over here, and it does have commercials. So I just thought it was a bit odd. But I just think it's a bit sort of strange. I noticed yesterday from your books, you were showing all the Target books, Neil, were different covers than the British ones. You have one, The Cave Monsters, which I think was a British cover. Because that was a guy that, I don't know if he did The Cave Monster, a guy called Chris Achilleos. Is that the name of the artist?
100%.
I don't know if he did the American covers. He did all fantastic British covers. I remember that.
Yes, if I have them all sitting here because I have to redo the video because it disappeared off of YouTube.
Hey, you were saying,
Uh
yeah.
oh.
Which one did you say it was?
It was the Cave Monsters.
Okay.
Anyway, what he's looking for, not my doctor. He says you don't know what you're laying yourself in for having us on laugh out loud. Our streams usually end up with everyone just laughing. Oh yeah, they have really laughing. On not my Doctor Who, they had everything.
We picked a good one for it to laugh at, I think.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Such a classic episode, Tomb of the Cybermen. This one.
Yeah, that's the Target books that I sort of grew up with. But effectively, most of the ones because that's the sort of the old logo, but most of the ones you were showing yesterday were the sort of the Davison logo and beyond. And there were completely different artwork on the cover. And I'm sure probably they're the first ones that came out, unless you had the second printing of some, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
Well, that one was that robot, yeah?
Yep.
Or the giant robot, as it's called.
The giant
yeah.
robot, it was called then. Yep.
It's by Terrence Dix.
Yep. The legendary Terrence
Dix.
Yep. Yeah.
I noticed you had a lot of American-looking covers, so.
Yeah, I have the, the New Adventures too. With Paul McGann and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a lung barrel you got for $8.
The Lungborough one I got for $8. Yeah, where is that one?
That's a lot of money.
Too bad I don't have any Doctor Who books. The only thing is I got of Doctor Who was Day of the Doctor DVD.
Where's my
Do you not get them
London?
at the Goodwill? Charity shops are called Goodwill shops in the States,
Oh
aren't they?
yeah.
Do you not find them there?
Um. Well, good. Look, but I will have to wait until this self quarantine is over with before I
How long do
do.
you think it'll be, Michelle?
What?
How long do you think that'll take?
They're looking at sometime in June shooting for. They said Ohio's doing really good. Uh, we flattening the curve. You know, we're because our governor got a step ahead in all this.
Yeah, they're quite worrying. It's the death toll in England has gone over 10,000 today, so it is quite worrying.
That's crazy.
That's bad.
Yeah,
Think
it,
about
it
it.
got in a retirement home here in Canada in Bob Cajun, and it pretty much wiped everyone out, which is really
Yeah.
sad. Even some of the volunteers that were working in there died from it too. You know, it's scary stuff.
It's. I have a.
Oh,
Here's my lung burrow.
yeah, I saw that yesterday on the video that never was. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if
Never-
you can see the price. I don't know if I can bring it in closer. I
Uh.
don't know if you can see that with
Close
that.
to the camera,
I
but yeah.
can't really.
$8.
$8.
It's a limited print run, I think, which is why it's so rare.
Mhm.
But I tried to download from torrents and stuff like that, and I could never get a copy anywhere.
I got a
Right.
friend. I got a friend in online friend that lives in Texas. That whenever her son set her up with a widower, they both are. So it's not dating. Just they both are going through it. And she went over and had. And then she said, "Oh, we're going out on a get together on Monday." I'm like, "Wait a minute. We're supposed to stay inside. It's like we're not supposed to be going and visiting other people." But she says that the news are causing so much fear. I'm like, excuse me, it is a scary disease.
Sorry, Neil. Oh, yes, Warriors.
Nice
Oh, very
Warriors,
nice.
yeah. With
What story? Is that just the one story? That's a special edition, isn't it?
that's a
I
special
can't really
edition.
see the top of it.
Oh, yeah, it looks like it's a special edition.
Yeah,
I
can
don't
you see
get too close to the camera to look.
Yeah. I don't know if I put it in too close and it goes blurry, I think. But
Oh, I can see it. I just can't see the green at the top, but yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Do you have- Sorry,
yeah, I didn't
Phil.
show
I
that
mean-
in my original one because it was on a different shelf. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
it came with
gotcha.
a separate disc too.
I need to get some more Doctor Who stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm gonna do another video, I think, of my stuff. I was gonna do it today, but it's too dark and gray outside.
Oh, I know it's like normal here. We're supposed to be getting some rain somewhere. Well,
It was really hot here today.
I think we all talked out about Genesis of the Daleks. I mean, at first when someone told me about them, and I'm like, I was saying the name wrong, and they had to pronounce it for me because I was not saying a correct term. But one thing is when they on the Daleks, someone owned BBC don't have the rights to the Daleks. It's was it the family who had to create who's the person who created their family? They
Carrie
had
Nation
Nation.
State. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, and one channel was talking about all the things that John Pertwee had, the Humobile, Bessie, that little airplane that he flew, or helicopter, whatever it was. But
It was
the
a Humobile, right?
the Humobile, he created himself. He had someone, build it and everything. And I heard one time about his son. He took his son out for a ride on real roads, as you see in the Doctor Who ones where he's driving in and out on the streets and stuff. He actually took his son and got pulled over. And then when the officer realized it was legal to ride on the roadways, that was
Mhm.
he just and that officer wanted a picture and stuff. Thought it was like funny, but I mean, all the stuff that he had, Who-mobile, Betsy, the helicopter, whatever machine he had. Oh, Dr. Five-O says the Who-mobile is a fully licensed roadworth car. Yeah, that's what I said, because he took his son out for a ride, and
Yeah,
he
it's
said
a
it was
bizarre classification by the DVLA. I know that really, because it's composed of different parts, part hovercraft really, at the end of the day, but it is fully roadworthy.
yeah,
John Pertwee used that at charity events and things like that after he left the role, but it did
yeah.
become his car. I don't know what actually happened to it. I thought it was a bloody awful thing. And I think
Oh,
at the time of the spider
no,
took off flying. I thought that was really
Well, I wonder
stupid.
if he left it to his sons. You can see
It
Sean
might still
Pertwee
be
traveling around to the.
oh, it was basically a human imp car underneath. That's what Not My Doctor Who said. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was neat. You know, it was, it was, it just, and it fit John Pertwee. All the things he had, that her Humoville, and that it just, all the stuff that he wrote, it's like they fit, that fit his character, fit his personality type style. That's why I know why they called him the James Bond of Doctor Who. Besides, he'd like to
Yeah.
do the action parts.
I
So,
like Bessie better.
I think everybody liked Betsy. Betsy. Oh, and I want to put this out here. I posted a picture. In the game Second Life I play, you can buy all the different doctors' TARDISes. I don't think if they had the 13th Doctor, I would like, okay, forget you. But they have like all the classic and new Who, like 9 to, I don't know, think they have the 12th Doctor, but they know they have Matt Smith's console, the first and second. You even have a TARDIS that you can summon and stuff like that. And they had a sim called New Gallifrey where you can play They got Doctor Who groups. I was like, geez, this is an English thing and sprung over, and Second Life is based out of California in the USA. And so they have this, they have creators. I mean, it spilled over to this virtual reality game I'm in. So it goes over.
But the TARDIS is a cultural icon, isn't it? Just
Yeah,
like a Dalek.
yeah,
Everybody recognizes the TARDIS. It's like Darth
yeah,
Vader.
yeah. I mean, I even had a TARDIS tip jar, that you could put, for tips.
This TARDIS behind me is a piggy bank.
Oh
Right
my
there.
gosh,
I've
nice.
got that one right behind my tablet at the moment.
Yeah, we were talking about
Okay,
that
so
before.
one-
That's the piggy bank I was talking about.
I have a TARDIS projection alarm clock, and then I got the coffee mug TARDIS, where it has a lid, and I will never drink coffee. It's more of a to look pretty, because
I
I
ha-
get
an
it all
ornament.
stained.
I have a coffee cup that I don't use. That's sort of in safe storage, but I got it back in mid '80s off of PBS when they did the pledge drives, and it's a coffee cup, right? And it's got the TARDIS on it, and it dematerializes and materializes when it gets hot and cold.
Oh, I've seen that on Amazon
Mm.
and stuff.
Yeah, this one, the one side has a TARDIS, and the other side's got the diamond logo.
Oh,
It's really cool.
I
That
like
is bad.
the logos from Classic Who. Now, New Who is okay, but the Classic Who logos are nicely done. You know, that's the way I look at it. Wish they would have that. Um,
It's
Which,
well, the diamond logo is such an icon of the program, right? And it's a shame that John Nathan Turner got rid of that when he took over. That
man.
part of Doctor Who, I think. That's that time tunnel and that diamond logo.
The one thing I do like of with New Who is when they did the intro, whenever for the show, the TARDIS is flying in the vortex. I think that is so neat. Like it's bouncing back and forth as it's flying, and I thought that was neat. That's the only neat thing that was added, to the intro part of Doctor Who. Anyway.
Not my Doctor Who's got a K9 that I want.
Uh-oh. You better watch out. Not my Doctor Who. Someone's going to steal your K9.
My little K9.
There's his little K9.
He's my desk buddy.
He's your desk buddy? Yeah. I got my sonic screwdriver, so I just have the 10th Doctor Sonic. I would love to have Matt Smith's one. Oh, that is so neat. Anyway, is there any projects that you're going to be doing, and give a shout out to your channel?
Well, I'm currently doing a Ghostlight pre-recorded episode where I break down all of the characters and the cast and stuff like that. Because when I talk to a lot of people and they mention Ghostlight, they say how confusing it is. So I'm trying to do a video breakdown so it's a little bit more easier for people to understand, and hopefully they'll understand it. Then I've got... Sorry?
It's very much about Darwinism, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I have Tomb of the Cybermen podcast coming up on Wednesday with some special guests that I'm looking forward to. Yeah. That's going to be an exciting one. And I got a couple of music ones that I'm working on. I just did a Nightwish one today. And I've got one that I'm working on for High Infidelity by REO Speedwagon.
Oh, cool. You want to give a shout out for your channel?
Well, it's my YouTube channel is Mr. Hyde's Podcast. And it's I'm starting to expand a little bit more in it. I'm going to be doing some X-Files.
Cool.
Live chats, and I'm going to try to do some more classic TV shows and movies and stuff like that, like Star Trek and Stargate. And,
Oh, before I say anything, not my doctor. He says it's for you, Neil. He says you're dropping that soul hit about my K9 again.
Yeah, you're going to walk into your room and it's going to be gone, and I don't know where it went to.
I know what. I will walk over there and I'm going to steal his TARDIS. Love that TARDIS.
You're going to have an empty room. That Dalek's going to be gone. We know where that one will probably end up.
Yeah.
The K9 will be gone, and his TARDIS will be gone.
Yeah, and then he'll be TARDIS-less. Whatever. Okay. I am going to give a shout out. The person in the chat that I made a lot of comments. Not my Doctor Who is, has his channel. They have live streams on Friday. It's about Doctor Who stuff. Then which is at 8 p.m. UK time, and then on Saturdays they do sci-fi 8 p.m. UK time. So I'm going to give a shout out for that channel. Don't forget to subscribe to his.
I was enjoying the Saturday one. Jerry Davis, I think it was that we were talking about.
Oh, God.
But my internet was bad, and I ended up I couldn't stay on, which is
they were laughing like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dean's laugh. Dr. 5-0. I love his laugh. He
was chatting.
Not my Doctor Who says not the TARDIS.
Yeah, Jerry Anderson, not Jerry Douglas.
Yeah. He just says no, not my TARDIS, not the TARDIS. So I guess he doesn't want me to steal his TARDIS.
I don't think my wife wants any more TARDISes in the house. I've got one in every room.
Oh no.
I mean the bathroom.
You mean she can't have a place that's like TARDIS free to herself where she can self isolate against TARDISes?
No,
Oh,
heard it's in every room,
yeah.
including in the bedroom. Right on my end table, I got a big old TARDIS. There's a nightlight that I want to get, a TARDIS nightlight. I don't know, or not nightlight, nightshade lamp. I saw that I want to get a hold of.
Oh, your wife will probably, if you did get it, your wife will probably have a cow
Yeah,
and a pig.
yeah.
Anyway, and I'm going
I'd
to
like
go ahead. Go ahead, John.
I'd like to shout out to the Doctor 50 channel on YouTube. An excellent Doctor Who channel, also does gaming and all sorts of different things. So check it out, Doctor 50. Very, very good channel. That's the
Oh
channel.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We give a
I'm
shout out.
going to write this
Dean's
down because
channel.
I'll remember what it is, Dr. Five.
Yeah, Dean's got some videos, good videos too as well. Subscribe to him as well as Not My Doctor Who and Mr. Hyde's podcast.
Is it all one word, Dr. 50, or is it two words, like what it says on the chat here, Dr.
The words, it's the words, not the words, not the numerals.
Okay.
FIVE.
And you're welcome.
You'll see him on my
50.
Facebook anyway.
All right. Yeah, cool. There we go.
Give a shout to that excellent channel.
Yeah. Also, my channel and Adventure in Time and Space, but if you look it up, it's under my name, Michelle Minks. You know, and I do
Blue
also,
Hoodie as well.
yeah,
That's an excellent channel.
yeah. Blue Bot Hooving as well has a good channel, good content.
Yep.
Except for the time she did it on songs. Interesting one.
Well, that was an awesome one. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I know. I was throwing
yeah.
them out left and right too, trying to think of songs I knew. And subscribe to their channel, and feel free to subscribe. Like the videos if you like them. If you don't like, doesn't really matter. Leave a comment in any of the videos that you see, even this video, of what you think, or if we missed something, and stuff like that. Just kind of like let me know what you think. And I try to do all different kinds of videos. I'm gonna try to expand and do videos on things other than on Doctor Who. I've done some tributes as well, so please feel free to check them all out. And I hope you enjoy them. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I hope you enjoyed this live stream and my guest here and our reviews and stuff. And so,
How can you not like these faces, right?
What'd you say?
How can you not like these faces? A couple handsome guys here.
Yeah. Two handsome men. Okay, two handsome men. Sorry, and I got the doctor's picture, so I figured it'd be perfectly good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
He's a handsome man too.
what'd you say?
He's a handsome man as well.
Oh yes, he's a handsome, and he's still got his full hair. Now he's older, he's still got all that hair, so it's all nice and white. Anyway, I thank y'all for coming and those who came in the chat. And I will bid you guys adieu, and you guys have a good day, good evening, wherever you are in the world.
Happy Easter, guys.
Yeah, happy Easter, and bye, y'all.
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.